Good afternoon and welcome to the Autopsy of Her, Healing, Evolving, Resiliency. I am Iris Denise Owens, your host, and on the line with me today, this beautiful Valentine's Day, is my beautiful co-host and sister. Good afternoon, honey bunny.
Good afternoon, honey bunny. Stephanie Deani Green. Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's
Wait
Day.
a minute. It's Valentine's Day, and neither one of us are wearing red.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, technically, I am wearing red. I wear red every day.
Your glasses are red. I don't have any red on. I have green nail polish, but no red.
Well, we have to tell everyone. So the reason why neither of us are wearing red, because for one, we are recording outside of our normal recording day, right? So when you see this, it'll be pre-recorded for you, but it'll be live because we're live. So see how that flows? So, but we're pre-recording today. And so we were just kind of getting ourselves together because I am going to be in Dubai.
Yeah, yes, she is.
So I'm so excited, So we're gonna get done because we don't want to leave you all without any shows to listen to and any content. So see how we're gonna pre-do it so you all have everything you need to listen to and tune in on.
Just don't get into any debates. When I had another crew of friends that went to Dubai, and it was like 9 of them, they were having a debate about who were they having a debate about? It was a debate about relationships. And the driver looked at them and told them to shut up. And they said they shut up.
Yeah. Listen, I was told you have to behave yourself. And listen, yes, I don't care wherever I go, whoever soil I'm putting my feet on, I'm gonna follow their rules. I'm following their rules because I want to come back to my own soil. I don't want to be one of those people, locked up abroad. Nope. So I don't
know how people do that. That's so crazy to me. I don't know
because people go places and think that they could do what they want to do because they could do what they want to do here in America. But I'm not doing that. I'm not that person. I want to come back home with good stories and good memories.
Exactly. Well, you can't go you go to somebody's house. You have to follow the rules. Yes. You can't just like that. That don't make no sense. To me, you have to respect other people's rules, no matter where you go.
Well, some of us don't know how to do that. We're not good at following rules or taking orders or taking commands. So we'll that's gonna be a topic. We're gonna talk about that one day. I'm sure we've talked about it in other times, but we're gonna focus on it. We're gonna hone in on it, as we want to say.
It's called respect, though. It's not about
that. It's
called respect. That's really what it is.
That it is. So today, guys, we thought in honor of Valentine's Day, we're gonna talk about what is love. The Valentine's Day show. So what is your first memory? So Steph, what's your first memory of love?
My first memory of love was probably like with my parents, and they used to call me the kissing bandit or something. So I used to love on. Yeah, I used to kiss everybody.
Oh.
I had pumpkin pie was my pumpkin pie was my nickname. Pumpkin pie and pudding pie, and they used to just eat me up.
Oh, that was so sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like that for a long time, especially in the Bronx. Like we had Miss Martha's candy store, and every time I go in there, because I used to go every Saturday. Me and my father would go there and have malts, chocolate malts, and
nice.
we would have. Here comes pumpkin pie, pudding pie. My brothers call me pudding pie, my older brothers, and then because they're like 13 and 15 years older than me.
Right.
So they just was crazy about it. My brother's girlfriend at the time. She could have ate me alive, and they're still married. They're still married.
Oh, that's
but
sweet.
Once they had their own children, it was like, yeah, okay. But when I was and she would get me because she wanted to know who was over to see my brother, was anybody else over there, all this kind of stuff. So I can tell you, me being that little chubby little kid, baby, I had a lot. I can honestly say I had a lot of love coming from a lot of places. So it was a
Nice.
big shock. I moved out of that whole community of love when I moved to Bergen County, and
Yes.
it was definitely shocking to me because I had it all covered, there, Even though my mother, my biological mother, they used to pick me up off the bus because we lived 2 blocks away from each other. So we were all somewhere together. So I was always able to see all my brothers and sisters.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so it was really, really nice. But then once I moved to, Bergen County, my whole life changed. It was, it took a long time for the love to come back. But then once all the people started coming from the city, it came back.
Right. Coming to Bergen County.
Different. Yeah, but then you're older. But yeah, and then my father, my godfather used to be like crazy about me. I went everywhere he went. That's how, and he liked to go to the bar. That was the first word I knew how to spell was BAR. Because we used to go to the bar. I was outside in the car by myself in the Bronx, me and the dog. I was like 3 years old in the car at night by myself in the Bronx. But he said the dog was there to protect me though.
And
and
there goes a different story of what is love.
What is love? But I was just saying, like, you think, like, who would do that? Like, who would do that? But, that was the way to get out of the house. So I'm taking Stephanie with me, but this time I'm going to the bar. And let me tell you, from this day, I do not like maraschino cherries because at times they would take me in the bar and they would give me I don't like Coca-Cola. They give me the Coca-Cola, the maraschino cherry, and it's the most nastiest thing to me. And it's from my childhood. But but else from my childhood, I like to sit up high. Like I like high sittings, even if my tables are high, but it came from sitting at the bar. It's things to take away. But I had a lot of love in that community when I was little. And then a whole nother type of love when I was in Savannah. Because they were shooting me on a plane by myself when I was 2 years old. First time I flew to Savannah by myself, I was 2.
Wow.
And and they met me. My other aunts met me at the other end. And I would just have a ball, My Aunt Vina, who's now 97, she used to make sure I had all of my birthday parties when I was there because her birthday is the same. Her birthday is 2 days before my birthday.
Okay.
And so she made sure I always had my birthday parties. And, we had a good time. She said to me recently, you always give me your parties? I said, yep. Yep.
Nice.
That's nice. And we still kind of celebrate. Last year, they had a cake for me too. Because now we celebrate her every year because she's 97. She'll be 98 this year. Yeah, so it's just beautiful. A lot of love. So what's your first experience?
Well, I guess I would say the same like you said. My parents, so I'm an only child. So, my mom and I, have always had a very close relationship. And I think for me, my love relationship with my mom was like Friday nights. And I was just telling someone this story the other day that until I started like having friends and, going places with groups of people as friends, my mom used to buy an Ettiman's pound cake and she would bring home the Ettiman's pound cake. And then we would make, we would have tea from my plastic teacups and my little tea set. And then we would drink tea and have pound cake. And then my mom would put on, Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, all the music from her era. And she would dance and I would crack up laughing because I would say, you call that dancing? And she goes, yes, it is dancing. And she says, watch, all these dances will come back. And she never lied because, it's like only the names of the dances change and the faces change, but it's the same dances pretty much. Just
it's true though.
Someone has given it a different version or done something different to it or whatever. And then after we would dance, I would do talent show. So I'd put on wigs and I had these light blue Catwoman glasses that I would put on and I'd sing for my mom and all this. And then after we did that, we would watch Creature Feature. I don't know how old some of you are, but remember Creature Feature? And the little hand used to come out of the ground.
I remember. That was scary.
It was really, really creepy. And so just sidebar, my mother, who is very much into scary movies and loves,
really?
that kind of stuff. So I'd go to the bathroom, right, in our apartment, and then I would come back and my mother is now hiding somewhere in the apartment, or hiding like on the floor in her room or behind the door or something. And I'm like, mommy, and then she come out with her eyes all, ooh, scare me half to death. You're like, this is why I'm crazy today, because you would always scare me in the dark. And then after we watched Creature Feature, then we would watch Let the Midnight Hour Shine Its Loving Light on You with Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
So that was those are my, I look forward to those Friday nights that I saw my mom, because it was just like, it was me and her's time together, and it was just great. And I learned how to dance, and it was just all those times that I got to spend with her, which was great. And then love for me was spending time in the summertime with my grandparents, because both my maternal and paternal grandparents lived in the same place, just across the island from one another. So getting to spend the summers with them, and then with all my cousins, because being an only child, I leave New York, being an only child with my own room, my own TV, my own phone,
Yes, yeah.
to go spend the summer in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with God knows how many other children, right?
Exactly.
But it was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. It was so much fun.
It was love. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I remember one time I guess we all were in a bed together, and one night somebody slept on my wrist. My wrist got all jacked up. Then the next night somebody else slept on my wrist. My wrist got all jacked. I was with the summertime. I was all. By the time my mother came down, I don't even think she was coming to get me. She just came to see me. And I was all messed up.
She was probably like, you need to go. You need to come home now.
No, she was like, what happened? And what I used to do, because my cousin, she had a fig tree in her backyard. So I used to climb the tree to get my figs. And then we had another tree, had the tree that had the kumquats. So we used to climb the tree. So we used to get the fruit and stuff off the trees ourselves.
Yes.
So I was more upset I couldn't climb a fig tree to get my figs. And it's so funny because they had figs, fresh figs, maybe like about 6 months ago at Whole Foods. And they just did not taste the same as the figs I used to get off the tree.
Of course not. They were not as fresh. And they didn't come from they didn't come from that good soil.
I know. But just like the fig Newtons. They don't taste like nice figs.
I think it's interesting that, it's interesting on the day of, this day, I sent messages out to some of my friends today and stuff. And I sent a message to my daughter. And for me, it's like, I don't need this day, right? I know for a lot of people, it's a big deal. Valentine's Day is a big, big deal. We know that it is a major money maker, stores, flowers, roses, chocolates, dinners, engagements, you name it, it happens on this day, right? Because it is like this.
It's my cousin's anniversary. She got married on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Right. But today,
my great nephew, it's his birthday. He got my
nice.
Great nephew.
Yeah.
His name is
I know someone whose birthday is today too.
I said, tell Nasia I said happy birthday, because he's the same age as me and my niece was pregnant together. So he's the same age as Savannah. So he turned 22 today.
I just think it's a reminder, I think for all of us, just to be reminded that, to ask yourself, what is love? What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
What is it for you? Because so many times I think we take on we have these emotions about things, and we take it on and assume that it is love. And sometimes it's not. But we want to focus on when it is love, what that feels like. Like, I always say love is the thing for me. It is the ooey gooey for me. And I think it's like the ooey gooey on my sandwich. Like if I had to make a sandwich, I want to smash love in the middle, and then I want some cookies on the outside of it, right? And then jam it all together. That's love to me. And the cookies would have to be some lemon cookies, because that's my favorite flavor of cookies.
Okay.
Or cake, right? And then in the center, you could put some lemon something in there, or put some white chocolate macadamias or something in there, right? That's love to me,
okay.
right?
Good girl.
Love for me is, the love of like having a great meal, like when you put it in your mouth and you close your eyes, and though you're eating it, you're still imagining eating it. That's love, right? It's the scent of someone that you are, enamored with, and then you smell them before you see them. And I don't mean like the strong smell of cologne, or strong smell of you didn't take a shower yet. Just that person's scent, because when you love someone, you smell them like they have a scent, like my daughter hates it, but I always, like, when my daughter's around, I'm always on her, and I'm always smelling her. Yes, because when my kids were younger, that was the thing. I always loved the baby smell. Like, babies have a smell that, like, when you smell them, I don't know, it does so, like, you feel so rejuvenated, like you feel happy. And for me, that's what love is. Love is, it's not just a love of another person, but when you love someone or you love something, it brings you such joy. Like, it's like, if you, for lack of a better description, like in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, right? That when his heart became overwhelmed with love, what happened? His little heart popped out, right? But how great is it? It didn't kill him, because in real world, that would have been a heart attack. And the Grinch would have been over. But that's what I'm saying, how love takes something that, even if it was negative, love will turn it positive. Does that make sense? Like, it can be dark, but if you put love on top of it, it brings light. You know what I mean?
It changes the whole dynamic of what it initially
dynamics was. Of something, which is why I think it's so interesting that, if you search the internet, there are so many articles about what is love, how do you know you're in love, how do you know he loves you. These are 10 signs that tells you that he loves you. Here are 5 signs. Here are 5 signs that you should avoid if they do this. Oh, these 13 signs means this man is in love with you. And it's all these things. And, and I think sometimes those are the things that get us tripped up and
absolutely
create unrealistic expectations of what love is. Because love fills a many plethora of things, right? Love will, the song, like, what's the song? Love will make you do right. Well, it's true, because think about people. think about it. Love will make you do right, because when you love something or you love someone, not only will you do right by it, you will sacrifice for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
That's why people
because you love it.
No, I'm saying, like, well, because you love somebody, like people say, like, a cheater is always going to be a cheater. That's not true.
No, it's not. Because when a cheater meets the person that they love, love will make you do right.
Like Alfie said, love will make you do right. When you meet that right person, you're just not, and nobody wants to not be the person, but you're not the person. You know what I mean? And deep in your heart, you already know you're not the person. Because one thing I say, especially when you talk about that type of love, if you have to ask somebody, do they love you? They don't.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because love to me is just, because you are a reflection of yourself to the other person, which we fail to realize. So love it. When you love on yourself, then that reflection of love comes back to you. And that's about teaching people how to treat you.
Yes.
And it's just not, it's in all aspects of your relationships of love.
Yes.
Your parents, your siblings, with your children, it's very important, because people in all types of relationships will end up wanting to treat you like an old shoe. Oh, they're always going to be there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to put any effort into showing them or doing things for them, because it's more like, I can show you, but I can tell you how I feel about you, because it's all, the proof is in the pudding. It's not what I tell you that's just lip service, you know.
Right.
He's like, oh, I love you all day long, but all day long you did nothing to show me that you love me.
Right. All day long, you never once picked up the phone to say, hey, how are you? How's your day going?
Exactly. How you doing?
Did you send me a quick text? Even in the busy, see that to me, when you love someone or you love something, you check on it.
Exactly. Now that's the key.
Now that's the key. You check on it because even though, our children are away from home, they're living on their own. And now if we were obsessive, we'd be checking on them all day, every day, but we don't love them. That doesn't mean we don't love them. We love them, but we also know what we've put in them. So we allow them and we want them to go into the world, to live their life, to explore and to, have growth and learn what they need to learn. But at the same time, there are moments when my mind runs on one of my children, I call them or I'll text them or I'll say, and they'll say, hey, Mom, everything okay? Yes, everything is fine. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to hear your voice. I just wanted to say I loved you. I just was letting you know I was checking on you. Just want to check and see what kind of day you were having today. Because sometimes as a mother, you get those feelings. And I feel like when you love someone, you have a connection with them, not just in the physical, but in the mental and the emotional and the spiritual, where you feel when someone is not feeling okay, or you sense when something's not right with them. Hence, when we say to one another, you okay? You okay means you look great. Like you look like $1,000,000, but your smile is just somehow a little off today. Your temperament is a little off today, right? So I can read when you say I'm good, and I'm looking in your eyes going, really? You are? Okay.
Well, that's how this all started. With you saying, are you like, okay, what's going on? What's going on?
What's going on with you? What's happening with you? Right?
Yeah. He was like, you can't keep living in ICU on the incubator. That's not gonna work. What's going on?
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, and what do we say? But I'm good. I'm okay. Oh no, no, you're not.
I mean, I thought I was good till my body said you weren't good.
Right. Like I always laugh at, I always say that's self-love. Self-love is because we rip and run. We do. We run ourselves ragged. And I say this all the time about myself. Like, I will commit to stuff, right? And my daughter will say, and I'll say, who thought of this? Of course, you know how that goes. You're excited about it until it's time to go and do it. And then you're like, who thought of this? And my daughter will always say, well, you don't have to go. And I tell her, no, I do have to go. I have to go because I gave my word that I would be there. Now, unless something tragic happens that I can't go, then that's different. Then I will have to resolve to say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it. But love is commitment, right?
Absolutely.
Whether that's commitment to self or to a project you started, or to going back to school, or making sure your children get what they need. And that could be basic needs. Love is that. Love is, I will make sure you have everything, even if I don't. Love is
consistency too.
Love is consistency. And love is, I will make sure that you are okay. And love is, I'm going to be okay until I know you're okay. And when I say that as parents, again, parenting is sacrificing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All the time. And even though, as my mother always would tell me, I can't wait till you have kids so I can see, so you'll see what I've gone through with you as your mother. And though
you really don't know until you have your own children. You don't.
And I love my mother. My mother loves me, but I know I work my mother's nerves. I know this, right? But that doesn't mean she doesn't love me. Even though for me, at times, I may want to feel like, why are you always on me? Why you over here again, lady? Right? But really, that is the love of my mother. It's not anything else, but it's the love of my mother. It is just the same way how we ride our children, where I'm sure our children go, oh my God, can you stop?
Oh, yes.
Can you not? Them. What's their favorite thing? Can you not? I bought Isabel a little refrigerator magnet that says that. Can you not? Like, she took it to school. Can you not?
Like kids, you're annoying me. Why are you annoying me?
Right. No. Why are you annoying me?
I'm like, oh my God. And I have a habit of like jumping in, like I'm like the kid. I jump on the bed with them. They come home. I jump on the bed.
Yes.
I'll be all over them. My daughter's like, stop.
Yes.
It is so annoying.
Yes.
And I was like, why are you in my room? I'm
like, first of all, you don't have a room here because you don't pay no bills here.
I do respect his space. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like I went in his room the other day and like I can't see the other side of the bed. But I was showing, because he definitely has the coolest room in the house. And I was showing my niece. My niece came over for dinner a few weeks ago. And on the floor is a mirror, like a mirror that you hang on the door.
Yeah.
And it said, big sign on it, do not touch. Do not move. No, do not move. It's laying on the floor. And every time I talked to him, I forgot. And I said to him, why is the mirror on the floor? And you have do not move. He said because it warped and he was trying to get it laid straight, so he figured laid it on the floor. Straight. Okay. So funny. We're going there like do not move. I'm like is something under the floor? Like, did you do something to the floor? The brand new floors? But it's funny. But they are very much those people. But I think like you have to, loving yourself is the biggest thing, even when it comes to dealing with your children, which is something that I'm definitely learning. Because if you don't love yourself, they will keep, taking and taking and taking, if you allow them to, because they're used to having what they want, basically.
Yeah.
And
because we've always done that.
Exactly. Sometimes it's like, no, you can't have that. No. I mean, well, you could. I'm just not buying it for you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's certain things they have to like understand, but they're getting there. But you getting there, especially being a divorced parent, you do seem to want to go over and above for your children. Absolutely. I know I felt that. I know you felt like that too, because now, like you feel a ways that now it's just you have to share your parents, one's here, one's there. So I used to feel really bad about that. So I would overcompensate, So it's like it could be really painful. But they don't see that. They use that to their benefit anyway, really, when you really think about it.
Well, as a young person, we're all manipulative.
Oh, wait a minute. They come out of you manipulative.
Well, but we all do.
Yes, I was going to say. I mean, I'm like, but it's not a learned behavior.
But like, they're all better. But this generation is better at it. I think they're better at it because we're easier to be manipulated, apparently.
Yes, exactly. But like my son, he like every time I have my kids, I had them in Bergen County, I boarded with them. And my son, all he wanted you to do was hold him and kiss him. That's all he wanted. And so when I would nurse him, I would try to put him back down. And your body's still draining, whatever, had that paper in your bed, whatever, the pad. And the pad will crunch. Like you get in the bed, you could hear the crunch. As soon as that little boy heard the crunch, he'll start screaming. Like it's like
he was like, you're not over here.
Yeah, you gotta hold me. And
right, you're not over here.
Like, because I had a C-section, so they gave me 4 days. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the 4 days because I got that toddler I got to deal with
at home already.
So give me a minute, And I was like, I needed to go home because it didn't help. Because when I tell you I did not sleep in the hospital with that baby who just wanted me to hold him, and that was it. He made weird noises. He was different than Savannah. He just wanted to be held and loved and touched. He just wanted you to kiss on him. So Savion wanted. And he was like that for a long time. He was I guess because being only 2 years though, but just that whole loving. And then literally one day, now don't hug me, don't kiss me, but he's still very loving though. He's still like that. My mother told me, he said, he's going to be, my mother first started getting sick and we went, and definitely my ex-husband would get me to my mother, any way, any means necessary. And I really appreciate her for that. And we would get there and go right to the hospital, and and I wouldn't be able to stay. I had the kids, I had to get back, get them to school, and everything like that. And my son had to be like 3, 4 years old. We leave, then he goes back and hugs his grandmother. My mother's like, that's a lover. He gonna be a lover. Now I'm moving forward to him being 19 and having, like, he has a girlfriend, and she's like, oh, he's the best boyfriend ever. She always tells me that. I'm like, yeah. I always remember what my mother said about him.
Yeah.
Because he is a very loving child.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And so again, what is love? Love is what is taught to us.
Oh,
but it's
absolutely.
also what is, what's shown to us and what's given to us. And so many times when we find ourselves in a non-loving situation, or what we thought was a loving situation, it's so hard to find our way back out of it.
Oh, it is. It is.
And it's almost as if, like, like we have these conversations with ourselves, like, why did you stay so long? Why did you do that? Why did you do? But we said this last week. Always remember this. Love has no sense.
Oh, no, that's the truth.
Love has no common sense. There are truly no rules when it comes to love. Even God says you ought to love one another, and there are no clauses under that statement.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
And
love your wife as you love
he says, love your enemies.
That's right. Yes, he does.
There are no clauses when it comes to love. Did you all ever, you know what? I don't think we ever think about that. There are no clauses when it comes to love.
No, I always think about that. That's like like we were having a discussion earlier, about the guy, like, who kind of like stood me up, but he stood me, and I'm like, because I have none of those things, like, I'm removing them every day, and I just literally feel like it's a platonic love. I just feel love for people. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm still here, and and I could have not liked you, or you didn't like me, I'm still, and I've been going through some different things, because when you go through a whole thing of, after long-term, marriage, you get divorced, and different friendships end, new friendships begin, and now people meet you in certain stages of life. So now it's like people I've met only known me through being married. And now that I'm not married, they have a hard, I can tell some people have a hard time understanding me. So it's just like, I was just like, oh, like, they're acting a little out of sorts, because now, like, how do I take you? I don't know, and I'm basically like, no, I'm not the same person, but my moral compass is still the same, so I just had to continue.
But you shouldn't be the same person, because as long as you're breathing,
of course not. Of course not. But if you
evolve in life. If you don't evolve, then you have not grown.
Exactly. But when you're not the person that's doing it, you're on the outside looking in. So you, like, so I could see, but I just was like, you know what? That has really, they have to figure that out for themselves. And I just have to continue to be me. But, first I was feeling a ways about it. But the more love I gave the situation, now I see some of these people, like, really coming around. Like, oh, this is the new Stephanie. And, she's still Stephanie, but now, and it's so funny, because sometimes people attach you more to people than they think, you know what I mean? Because, and I think a lot of the people was like, oh, she has, like, the perfect marriage, this perfect husband. And I don't know where people got that from, because I never put that out there. Although what's perfect for one person may not be perfect for another person. Perfect is all in the eyes of the person who's in the situation. But I was never that person, you know what I mean? Like, I would always be conscious if I was in the room of, once I used to work for a realtor, like, all the women were not married. I was the only married woman. And I made a conscious thing not to talk about, my husband or my marriage. We would have different conversations about other things. And then it still was being accused of, oh, all you do is talk about your marriage. I'm like, no, I don't. That's why you don't know nothing about my marriage. That's why you want me probably to talk about it. But I would never want to put that, in somebody when I knew that all the women wanted to get married. Some women older want to get a second marriage. One never got married before. But, where some people want to put that, I would just, because I would never want to hurt anybody's feelings like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but some people, when they're on the outside looking in, that's how they feel, and it doesn't matter. It's just like some people on the outside looking in, it's like, well, if I had him or if I had her, then I would have that kind of relationship, and you wouldn't, because each person brings their own energy to those different relationships. I've seen men go after other people's wives. I've seen women go after other people's husbands, thinking that you're going to get that from them, and it doesn't work like that.
No. But the love starts from, see, what people see is what, life is like life, I think, is like a fishbowl. It's a fishbowl, it's an aquarium, and you can only see what's right here.
Exactly.
And you see even when you get too close, how it disappears. Do you see
exactly
that? Like, see this? Sometimes the closer you are to a situation, you really don't see anything. You only see the surface, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes what we miss is what we think, because when you look at people who have been married for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 75 years, right? We go, oh my God, that's so beautiful. But you know what I started realizing? There are a lot of people who've been married 75 years and they shouldn't have been married 5 minutes. Right? And what love did in some of those situations, right, wrong, or indifferent, was people learned how to love each other in some cases.
Oh, yes.
People learned how to love each other. People learned how to I guess, muster up the strength to stay in marriages or in loveless situations. And is that healthy? I can't say yay or nay. I can't, because for every person, that's a different situation. But I do think love is authentic, right? Love doesn't look like the same thing for even the two people who are in love.
Which is true.
I love you, Stephanie, because you are my sister. You love me because I am your sister. We love very much the same, but we don't always think the same, right?
No.
And it's like when people say opposites attract. Well, yes and no, because sometimes the opposite of getting together with someone, like, they talk about your love language. My meditation this morning was about the 5 love languages, right? And so, affirmation, gifts, presence, the sense of presence, things. But everybody doesn't, some people don't even know what that means. What's a love language? Because some people want to and need to hear, I love you. There are people who will never say, I love you, but they show you that they love you. Because remember, we're all taught love differently. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm talking about, whole people who are well, who are healthy in their, in their spirit, in their minds, in their soul, who love, have a self-love for themselves. And I'm not talking about an arrogant love. I'm talking about a self-love for themselves, that they're healthy enough to be in relationship with another person, that they would not do anything intentionally wrong to that person and hurt them and then say, but I love you, right? Because we all have to be a whole before we can even be apart. Does that make sense? We can't be part.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, you're looking to be a whole. The craziest mind ever. You complete me. That's the craziest thing
nobody
ever. Because you have to be complete.
Right.
Yeah. You have to be completed before you meet that person.
Right.
Exactly.
Now they may add enhancements, they they'll create highlights, but they should not, but nobody completes you. And that's, Like people say, you're the yin to my yang, but notice it's a yin and a yang. It doesn't say you're the yin to my yin or the yang to my yang. It's a yin and a yang, which means we are two different elements, whole, come together to be a greater whole. That's, you know, because when you, it's like, you know, if we piecemeal,
like I have this analogy.
Yes.
Now, if I have this analogy, and it was a little different though, but basically similar. So the analogy was like, I'm a pie. I'm a whole pie.
Right.
And I was always an apple pie. And as you grow, the pie gets bigger too.
Right.
So now the pie opens up. Okay. So because when you're born, you only need your parents. You know, you don't even need your only food source you need is from your mother.
Right.
That's all.
That's all.
But as you start to get older, you know, say when your mom goes back to work and you got to go to date, now you got a bottle. So it starts opening up different, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so you have to fill it with other things, other slices of pies. Right. Especially when it starts a relationship. So when you get to that part and of the relationship and it's just a slice, is the relationship between you and another person, a love relationship. And I always say like, well, I don't know if rhubarb pie is going to go with my apple pie. You know what I mean? But the slice should fit in perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a slice because you were already whole. You know what I mean? I don't need, you know, you don't need to be overlaid on top of what I already am. I already had to have that in place.
You don't need overlay. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. You don't need that. You know what I mean? But you got to go with your core values need to be the same. But other than that, you know, he's a wallflower, you like to dance. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But your core values are the same. And that's the main thing. And I think that we really kind of like miss that. You know, it's all like, oh, because you know, the core values is what is the main thing. You know what I mean? Like if you go by the system, you know, as far as Democrat, Republican, if you're a Democrat, you shouldn't be married a Republican. You know, that's like core values. You know, that would be absurd all the time in your relationship. You know, if you follow things of that nature. I don't really believe in the zodiac sign thing because I think everybody has all of those things in them. Maybe whenever your sign shows up, you see more of what they say. But I know people that have healthy relationships that they say they should never be together because they signs and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It really comes down to communication. Like, you know, all weekend long, I watched Marry Me, Jennifer Lopez's new movie.
Listen, guys, she watched this movie 5 times this weekend. I don't understand.
I think it's 7. I'm gonna watch it again tonight. I think it's 7. But let me tell you something.
Don't tell me the movie.
But one thing that you show in the movie is that I'm just saying. One thing, it was a part of the movie. You know that she listened, and they listened to each other. Yes. And I think it's a thing that's like, you know, somebody. Okay, so this is your husband. He's turning 50. I want to give him a party, all this stuff. Your husband doesn't like parties. That's just really not his thing. So you shouldn't give him a party. You need to give him what he likes.
Yes, you're traveling down my road. That be very kind to me. Remember, I had this very situation in my life.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, for me, I like a party. I'm gonna stay on the floor. I like to dance, whatever. So you give me a party because that's what I like. I'm not a dinner and a movie if I'm having a milestone birthday, whatever that milestone may be to me. And you are dinner and a movie, I'm gonna give you a dinner and a movie. But that comes to listening and respecting your partner. You know, I never forget when I was married, I wanted this coat for Valentine's Day. He's like, give me this coat, and it was a leather pea coat. I never forget. And literally took my husband to the store, showed him the pea coat. This is what I want. When he came home, he did not come home with that coat. He said to me, well, the sales girl's home and you'll probably like this coat better. I said, but I took you to the store.
Right. Took you to the coat.
And so this is the coat that I wanted. He was really good for doing that. And I'm very much, as you know. I know who I am.
Right. Well, same thing, right? Remember the 50th the 50th fiasco.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes.
I have had to forgive for the 50th fiasco, right? And you're right. And so, as I said, love is sacrifice, right? Shouldn't be hurtful or painful to you, but it is sacrifice, or to the other person. It's sacrifice in the sense of, right, if you really know me and you're really listening to me and you know what I love, then, and most times, like me, I'm simplistic, but I'm deeply exaggerated at times, if that makes sense. That makes sense. Like I know what I want, and I'm gonna tell you. If you say, well, what do you want? Like what do you want for your birthday? I want to get together with family and friends, and I want to dance, and I want to laugh, and I want to have a good time. And then you give me a roast. You give me a quote unquote party at a restaurant, like it was a roast, like I was being roasted, like a church party.
Ooh. No, ma'am.
No, absolutely not. And so, again, you're right. That listening part is what's important, because
it's everything.
And if you know me and you're saying, even when, like you said, the salesperson said, I think your wife would really love this coat. She's not married to me. She don't know. And if I took you to the store, and see, that is something that people will say, well, you didn't tell me what it was that you really wanted. That's another thing. Love is being clear, right? Yes. Don't beat around the bush about it. Say what you want, say what you mean, and mean what you say. Right?
Exactly.
Don't say that. And women, we are guilty of this. We will drop hints, right? And then we think he's going to figure it out. No, baby, if you want what you want, and he has asked, what is it that you want? Then you need to be very clear. Hey, babe, this is what I would really, really like.
Whatever you want to stay married, maybe that's why I'm not married no more, because I make you very. This is a joke.
This is what I would like. And but you have to do the same for your partner. So your partner has to know that when he says, you said, babe, what do you want for your birthday? And he says, I want to. So you go and you do the best you can with what he has just told you, just as he should go and do the best he can with what you have told him. But if you completely come back and you threw my stuff out the window, right, then you weren't listening. You weren't listening. You did, and you didn't care enough to even come back and say, hey, you know what? I can't do that. What else could I do?
Exactly.
You went far left with something that you knew I was not going to like or enjoy. And then what happens? I end up being the sacrificer. Why? Because then I have to pretend like I liked it.
Yeah. And that's never good.
I have to pretend now, because now you've put me in this situation where now all these people are standing around.
Oh, yeah. You got an audience.
And you're the great husband. Oh my God, look at what he did. And you're going,
yeah, that's not working.
And I'm not the only one who's experienced that. You're not the only one who's experienced that. I know other people who have experienced that. And so that's what I'm saying. When it comes to love is I listen to you.
Yeah, love is not only, it's listening and respecting your wishes.
Yes.
On top of that. That's important. Like, let me tell you, I wanted one year I wanted a Lynx coat. I saw this Lynx coat, it was bad. And I was like, and he was like, okay, and it got to the point like, whatever I want, just give me the money, I'll go get it. So he gave me money to go get my Lynx coat. And it was two coats I really liked, but I really, really wanted the Lynx. And this taught myself a really good lesson. But he really loved this Burberry raincoat. So I got the other coat, a shearling with this gold fox trim and all this stuff. It's a pretty coat, but it's not the Lynx. And because then I took the rest of the money and bought him the Burberry raincoat. And the other day recently, I saw somebody with a Lynx coat on. I could have like literally smacked myself because I knew we was gonna get a divorce. I would have got my legs cold.
Well, that's the thing. You cannot. Love is not anticipating the end.
Exactly, it's a joke, but no, it's not. It's real. It's not a joke, but it's real. But it's like I was
Yes.
like, it was so funny that I don't even think he really appreciated it. He was like, "Oh," I said, "Because I know you really wanted it. I really appreciate, you giving me the links, just being, considerate. You know what I'm saying?" And so I said, "Well, I just, got a less expensive coat and then got you the Burberry, raincoat." And, that really was appreciated. But I think he liked the coat, but it was like, he played about the coat a lot. I was like, you know what? Even back then, I got my links.
Well, you just hit on something again. Love is what? Appreciation of one another.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Appreciation of yourself, appreciation of the other person, appreciation of, hey, we're in this thing together, right? Mm-hmm. And so we work together to make it better. We work together. So if there's a bump or there are humps or whatever, there are hurdles that we have to, leap over, that we know that we have each other's back. And so
you're a team. You should
love
be
is
anyway.
being supportive of one another, even in the times that you cannot necessarily see the light, even at the middle of the tunnel. You've been there before, know that part. Love is really having to sit back and say, you know what, I have no idea what's about to happen, but it's gonna happen. We'll go through it together. And I think sometimes in life, we when things get really, really hard and things get really, really tough, we quit on ourselves first. Mm-hmm. And then when we quit on ourselves, we quit on our partners, which is true.
But love is also saying, I'm sorry and I apologize.
Absolutely.
And really meaning it from the heart. Because I do really, really do feel that if it's in relationships, between couples, if people apologize more and if people gave you more compliments, we would have a lot healthier and happy relationships.
Yeah.
But the reality is, not even just a man, or just not a man, but women do this too. Like, I've seen women like, oh, he look good, but I ain't gonna tell him he look good because he think he look too good for me. Tell your man he look good. What's up with that? Because it's a mental thing when you do that, and it's nothing nice. But now the next person tells him he looks good. Why? Now you want to know why he over there?
Right. Why? And why you mad? What?
Exactly.
Why he's smiling? Why he's smiling? Because somebody told him he looked good. Because we all need to hear that. Men, women, children.
The people
we all need to hear that from the people who we love and who we appreciate.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And it's nothing wrong with that. Even like, I know we used to go out to dinner, whatever. I would always say, like, my husband, oh, thank you. That was nice. Appreciate that. Or, whatever. Even now, with the kids, I mean, we still have, a lot of financial responsibilities together. So I'm not like, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Right.
That's important. You should let people know that they're definitely appreciated.
Exactly.
Even your children. You know what I mean? I was like, my nieces, I have a whole bunch of nieces and nephews. I was telling them like how beautiful they are. Because that's important, and I have like some of their parents don't tell them that. Like, why? Oh, they're gonna be thinking they big heads. You tell your kids, give your kids compliment on their good grades, on the things that they do, because the reality is that it's so many negative things out there that just are in your face 24/7.
The world is not nice.
Yeah, let's just focus on the good things and give you that positive energy, to make it feel. Because if you get enough positive things and you feel with positivity, that's what you will attract to yourself. And so I try to like fill them up with positivity, and people like, oh, they're shallow. They don't see those things. You're not meant to see everything. No. Just like when you're reading the Bible, some words just pop out of you. They mean different things to different people.
Right.
So that's all right. You don't need to see that. It's just like I think I talked about before when Follow the Bride, the second one they made. And when the mother found out she's pregnant, and her daughter's pregnant, now she's pregnant, and she's all looking at the one side of the road, the little girl skipping with her dad, and they're just loving and laughing. And this other side, he's looking, the baby screaming at the father, throwing an ice cream cone at him. because, that was his perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's how you looked at it. She was all like, okay, I'm pregnant now. What am I going to do? I'll be a grandmother and have another baby. And he's like, I thought we were done. We got a 13-year-old. I'm ready to be finishing this up. Now we started from scratch again.
But you see, that's a prime example, right? Of love is because what love is because what life throws stuff at you that you necessarily you were not expecting. It's funny when you were talking about kids, because something as parents sometimes that we forget to do is that we tell our kids, yes, we will tell our kids we love them, but like when I used to pack my kids lunch, for me, love to my kids was every morning preparing them a hot breakfast, making sure they went to school with a hot breakfast. My kids never ate cereal going to school. If they ate cereal, it was because they wanted to, but that was on the weekends. And really, they didn't eat it on the weekends either, because on the weekends, then they'd be like, are you making French toast today? So so they were always expecting that. But when I used to pack my kids' lunch, I would write little notes and put them into their bags, because just think about it, how much you smile when you get just a little thing from somebody who loves you. It makes the day so much better, because a lot of times those little moments in life are the things that we reflect upon, or we should have to reflect upon when life is really, really tough, to remember that, wow,
that happiness back. Exactly.
Right. That, but most of all, to know that God loves you. Like today for Valentine's Day, I posted a Valentine, but it said the Valentine was God so loved the world. So it's the Valentine within that scripture, which I love that. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. I mean, come on. He who believes in him will have everlasting life. I just feel like that is love that we cannot compare to, right?
Oh no, nothing compares to that time.
Nothing compares to that love. Nothing. Nothing at all. But if we were to even try, like, I feel like we're always competing about stuff, but we don't compete on that side, right? With how can I show you the love that I have for you without being weird? You understand what I mean? Like, without being weird. And sometimes we forget that just the small things of reaching out to your friends every now and then and saying, hey, just was thinking about you. I love you. Right. Reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, how's your day going today? Right. Thinking about somebody and saying, hey, it's their birthday, and that it's their birthday, but maybe they don't have anybody to spend their birthday with. So you plan a birthday gathering for them. Right. Or you have a day with them, you take them out and you love on them. Right. Sometimes we don't even understand the small impacts we could have in showing love to people or showing love to another person, because we need that. It's love. Love to a human being is like basic water and air.
Oxygen.
It's oxygen. Just think about when someone tells you they love you and that they really love you, how you feel. Like your face hurts from smiling, right? Your ears will get all hot and tingly, like, oh my God, they love me, right?
When your first time your baby says they love you, oh my God, they can't say the words, but
and you're like, oh, but I love you too. It's just
that's the best feeling when your baby says that. That's like, oh my God.
Yes. And when your kids make that first Mother's Day card, and like I still have the pictures that my daughter drew in kindergarten of me with the short hair. She drew long earrings and really my almond eyes and my nose. She hit it dead spot on. I keep telling her, I'm gonna hold on to this because one day I'm gonna sell this for money. I'm gonna sell this for money. And she's always laughing. But if you think back to love is having the child of a heart of a child. If you think about it, love is having the heart of a child, because children are very forgiving.
Oh
now,
my
sometimes
God.
that's sometimes on the negative side of that is how we become victims. But
Exactly.
I want you to be able to understand to opening your heart gives you more joy.
Oh, it does. Oh, absolutely
Right?
does.
Opening
Oh,
your
just like
heart.
the other
Love
day,
is
what happened to
joy.
me, I was going through the toll and I gave the lady money. She said they already paid for you.
Right.
So it was like,
Paying
let me
it
tell you,
forward. Just
that
acts
happened
of
to me on
kindness.
Friday. It happened to me on Friday. And when I tell you,
Random acts of kindness.
exactly, I had the most phenomenal day.
See?
And, it's happened to me before, but it hadn't happened to me in a long time. But I tell you, something else happened to me phenomenal that day. And I was just walking on clouds. I was like,
Yes.
wow, that was beautiful. That was really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah.
It's just learning how to stay out of our negative zone, right? And sometimes I know that's hard. Life is rough. Life throws fast.
Yeah, that's something we got to work at, though. I mean, right. that's something worth working at.
Right. Working at staying in a love zone, right? And learning how not to be so pessimistic.
High vibration.
Right. Learning how not to be so pessimistic or to be so taken aback by, like, yes, there are bad things that happen in the world. They do. But you can limit your exposure to those things. I'm not talking about you can limit your exposure to the things that happen in life, because we have no control over that. But you can limit your exposure to reading about all the negative things, because anytime you open social media, that's all you see. When you watch the news, it's all you see. I'm not saying don't watch the news. I'm just saying, though, but you can limit the amount of content that you're taking in. Also, limiting the time in which you watch it. Like, before you go to bed, don't watch the news. That's a horrible thing to do. Read a book, listen to meditation music, listen to some love songs. Go to sleep in a love zone. Don't go to sleep in a war zone, or don't do that. Love is finding that peace within yourself, because that is the one thing, when we say, oh my God, what's wrong with that person? Why are they so self-destructive? We become self-destructive when we have self-hatred, and we don't even know that we have self-hatred. When we don't like who we are, and for whatever reason we got to that place in life, because there are a plethora of reasons why people have self-hatred. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with who we are, in terms of meaning, and saying that it wasn't like one day I just woke up and said, I hate myself. It is things that have happened. It's things, the culmination of things that have happened in our lives that sometimes brings us to not, being self-loathing or hating ourselves or not having love for ourselves. And so it's real important to keep reminding yourself. Y'all know my saying, be careful what you say to yourself, because yourself is listening. Because we're our own worst critic. Would you agree?
Oh, we are. That's for sure. That is for sure.
I know I have stood in the mirror and cursed my own self out. I know I have. I've stood in the mirror and smacked my own face and be like, wake up. You need to get it together. Come on, let's go. Right?
You say, get your life, girl. Get your life.
Get your life together. You know me. I'm always like, let me get my life together. Because you only get one. You only get one.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And
but
stuff is going to happen. No, the best planned life, stuff is going to happen.
Oh, the best laid plans. Yeah.
But love is.
Love is.
I love that show. You remember that show? They used to come on, Love Is? That was on BET. No, it was on OWN, and they took it off, unfortunately.
Oh, I heard about it. I never saw it.
That show. You could actually catch that show. Here I am pubbing this show. You could actually catch that show on you can go on demand, because it's on OWN. You can go on OWN, Oprah's channel. You can go on OWN and watch that show. That is the most beautiful story to me of love. It is a great story of love, right? And we always see love doesn't have anything. Love half the time don't have anything to do with money. Money is the thing that normally will tear people apart, right? You know, you come from you come from the rich side of the tracks. I come from the poor side of the tracks. And so there are people who will say you have no right to be together because he doesn't offer you anything or she doesn't offer you anything. And yet they're trying to take everything from you. And many times that's not really I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm saying everybody who doesn't have money doesn't mean I'm trying to take from you. Right. And we get so caught up on the materialism of life that I can't fall in love. We've been talking about this for years, especially in the Black community. You know, a sister goes to college and gets a degree, and then you're like, yeah, she can't fool around with the blue collar worker. Well, it's not because he's a blue collar worker, it's his mindset. If his mindset is not that of I'm a blue collar worker and this is all I'm ever going to do in life, that's different. But if his mindset is that I'm a blue collar worker and I can't see myself doing anything else in life, love is we come together and we figure it out together.
That's right. That's right. Maybe you work at this gas station, but we're going to buy you one. We're going to figure out how to do that. Hello. That's how you do it.
I always say to people, it should not matter who makes the money in the household, right? As long as everybody's doing their part, and it's all going in the same pot, then we're working together for the goals that we have put together for our lives together. But we are so bogged down with, you don't have this, you don't have that, I got this. And you should expect somebody to bring something, right? But I do think my table Steph's table gonna be a hot boy. My table gonna have crystal on it, right? But does that mean that nobody else can sit at your table with the crystal or at the high boy? Because if your table is too high and your table is too sparkly, guess what? You're gonna be sitting at that table by your damn self. Now, so you got to look at it from that perspective. Love comes in so many different facets. It's like how people. It's so interesting to me how people meet people and say, I never even thought about that person. Like I wasn't even looking for that person.
Exactly.
And, they meet and 2 weeks later they're married. And you're like, what? And
it was a perfect person for you.
And 75 years later, they're like, oh, we met one day at the school cafeteria and we just felt, you're going, huh? But it happens. It really happens.
It's true. So, but you gotta be open. You gotta be open for it and ready for it.
Yes,
that's
do.
For sure. I can tell you guys, like, I don't know how many years ago, but however many years ago it has been, I have not watched the news. I learned that from Oprah.
Yes.
And when she had that talk show, so I definitely do not watch the news. I'll get it, and sometimes I still get too much of it, but I'll get it. I don't need to watch the news to remind me of all the things that are happening.
Yeah.
Because what you think about, you bring about.
Yeah, that's true. What you focus on the most is what seems to find its way into your psyche.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna grow. It really, really is. And so I try not to focus my attitude there, my mind there. Yeah, definitely, which is really true. But you gotta like you said, you have to be open to other things within, meeting people. If you really want to meet somebody,
right? If you really want to find love.
Like I mean, I do like chocolate, chocolate, like they carve, but like I'm opening up to caramel, so that's cool too.
So for those who are not understanding, she's putting her specs out there. I just want y'all to understand it.
I'm saying that I had to I just had to open up,
yeah, you do.
Okay, you know what I mean? And not to mention, I mean, other things okay, be caramel, doesn't have to be dark chocolate or milk chocolate. And I don't really like the tall guys, but then I'm like, okay, a tall guy, okay. Because I like a guy more on the short side, really. But
well, do you remember what's so funny about that? Remember we had the author on, Milton Broughton, and what did Milton say? He said, women, y'all have y'all whole damn lives planned out by the time you 5.
Yeah, yes, he's right. It's true.
It's true. We don't even know. We don't know his name. We don't know where he comes from. But we already have this image. We've already created the image of what he has to bring when he comes, right? And if if he's missing any of those elements, we're typically like, nope. And sometimes we don't even realize we may be releasing the very blessing that God has sent to us, right? Because they don't fit
on the core value
package. Yeah.
Yeah, we're focusing on the preferences rather than the core values. That's why I'm saying I have to like take my preferences off the table and focus on core values. You know what I mean? Because it's true. Like, you know, people like, you know, you see women like, oh, he gotta be 6. Like I never liked the 6 foot man. He gotta be 6 feet. He gotta be 6'2", whatever, or you know, whatever. You know, but you got the preferences is what we need to open up more for.
Yeah.
And like, you know, really focus, because let me tell you, we'll give up our core values for preferences, which is crazy.
You know what does that land us normally? And what does that land? Yes.
You know what I mean?
The preferences makes us blind. The preferences makes us blind to the fact that the core values don't exist.
It's so true. Like I know people like, you know, like I've known for years, and all of a sudden you're dating this guy that gets high every day.
Like, and you go, how did I find myself here?
Yeah, like, you know, oh well, he's not so bad, you know, and it's legal in some states, you know, all these excuses for it. I have a family friend she did not smoke. People weren't allowed to smoke, you know, cigarettes in her house, whatever. Next thing you know, she's dating this guy that smokes cigarettes. And you know, she gave him a room in his place because, you know, but you cannot, that when you start doing that to yourself, you are not loving yourself. That's really what it comes down to. Now, if you say to this person, like, you know, like one time a while ago, I met this guy, he's like, he smokes cigarettes. I said, seemed like a very nice person. I said, I cannot date you. I said, because I have asthma and I do not spend my time around people that smoke. He said, I'll quit. And he quit. But still, you know. But yeah, I just, certain things, I just really, really put that out there. I'm not going to be around that. Oh, no. I put my health on the line for you and nobody else. Yeah. Absolutely not. Places I don't go, like everybody now, I don't really get invited to a lot of parties with like certain groups because they smoke cigars, and cigars is the big thing now. Yeah, I don't smoke cigars. Nor am I interested in a man who smokes cigars. You know, that's definitely my preference. Yeah. I know it's not a preference. It's a preference. It is a preference. But it's a health-wise shit. But even if it wasn't health-wise, I would not. That's just not my thing. He's got to know who you are. That's for sure. And love yourself. Yeah. Loving yourself is the beginning of everything.
Right. It's the beginning of everything.
Because the babies love themselves. I'm like, let me tell you, those little things come out of you. I never forget, I went to lactating class. I did not have a lactating nurse, but she was telling me, I was schooling all the other nurses when I was having my daughter. And she said, let them put the baby on your stomach. And she will literally crawl up to your breast and latch on. Mm-hmm. And they put her on my stomach as soon as they cleaned her up, and she latched right on, just like that. Yeah. Because they know. And one time, me running my mouth talking to my husband, and I was ready to nurse her, and I didn't put it in her mouth quick enough. She grabbed my breast, put it in her mouth. She scratched me, because they're survivors. I'm hungry. You want to see?
And you have what I need. Give it here.
They are survivors. I mean, like, you come here like that. You definitely come here like that. That you self-love, and we got to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day. I really do.
I know. And don't forget to watch Marry Me. I love it.
Please watch Marry Me. I hope J-Lo sends you your commission check for the promotion of this movie.
She already sent it to me. Let me tell you the what do you call it? The soundtrack.
Yeah, you said the music is really good.
The music is beautiful.
Well, I am gonna watch it because you've been talking about it, and now you don't watch this 7 times, y'all. I don't know. Good thing it's not a record, because she done wore all the grooves off of the thing, right?
But she is our Puerto Rican sister now. She goes to the Boogie Down Bronx too.
Yes, she does. Jenny from the block.
That's right.
I love Jennifer's attitude when it comes to love. And I just said that to my mom today. I said, say what you want about a woman who, because, it's like, it's like the scarlet letter if you've been married multiple times, right?
And she talks about that, yeah.
But I am the heart. I'm like Jennifer, hopeless romantic, looking for love, seeking love, want love. and deserve love. And I believe that, so if it's not working, and the person, you and that person don't serve one another in the terms of that love relationship, and of course you've done all that you needed to do, you went to counseling, you talked about it, you prayed about it, you've done what you needed to do, I just don't think it's right
people wanted to do that.
Right. I just don't think it's right that people should suffer one another in the, being in a loveless relationship.
Yeah. Or hold people to the feet to the fire.
Knowing how to set one another free if you don't love each other anymore.
Exactly.
Love
is like, if you want to be married to me and you're so unhappy, I'll be gladly set you free.
Right. I'm not if I'm unhappy, you're unhappy too. Even because even when people will say, I'm happy, you can't be happy if your partner is unhappy. Because if your partner is unhappy, your partner is not happy with you. So if your partner is not happy with you, how can you be happy with your partner? Because the feelings right there are not mutual.
I agree. Let me tell you,
now don't get me wrong. In any relationship, there will be the times when we feeling each other, you feeling me, I'm not feeling you, vice versa. Or the times where we just like, you know what, who thought of this? But when you love each other, but when you love each other, you will come back and work on that to realize, okay, that was really silly, that was not worth it, I didn't really mean that, and here's some things that we need not do to put ourselves in those situations. But
when the person leaves you for another person and you want them back, and I know it's happened to
Shirley, this is Barbara. This is Shirley.
I don't you over there, I'm gonna harass the person and call them and everything. You can have them. They let them say
all of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I won't drop off the clothes, but I'll put them in front of the door for you to come pick up.
Don't do that. That's not love.
No, I'm saying, no, that is love. Because if you found love and happiness over with somebody else, love is that you don't have to come in the house.
You got to set it free.
I would do it for you and put them outside on the curb and let you know that it's there. I wouldn't
guess what? That person set you free, but they just didn't tell you.
Exactly.
They set themselves free, but they didn't tell you. So,
you told me when they didn't come home no more, you know.
Well, that too.
I'm a bird. I'm a cockatoo. That's the bird I choose to be, a cockatoo.
I hope and pray that all of you find love, and not just on Valentine's Day, but that you find love every day. And it starts with you. That's where love starts. Love is love of self, love of God, love of family, love of friends, love of what you do. Love is you. So, you got to have that romance with yourself first. And then you start, reaching out to the others in the world, and prayerfully find one who loves themselves and loves you too. So
that's right. Because I had the most romantic weekend, just like I just enjoyed my little self.
Yes,
and then tonight is the most special night, because tonight is Valentine's Day. I have a thing that I do. I watch An Affair to Remember every Valentine's Day.
Oh, and yes, you love those old movies. God. Yes,
I love the old movies, and it's like they made it 3 times. This is the second version of it.
Okay,
cool. With Cary Grant and Deborah Carr. And if anybody ever saw it, you would know the movie I'm talking about. With the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. I just love that movie. So in a couple hours, I will be watching that movie.
Well, enjoy.
I will.
enjoy your movie. And we want to just say to all of you, we love you. We love you.
Yes, we do.
If no one tells you on this day that they love you, we love you. We love you.
You doing the heart the right way?
You have to do it like this. This is Izzy taught me.
Am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm doing it. Okay.
Yeah. You have to. So love yourselves. Smooches to all of you all.
Yeah. And smooches, have a great day. Have a great week. We're gonna miss you next week. I'll be in Dubai. we're gonna have a repeat show on though.
Yes, we are. We will have one of our best shows that if you didn't get a chance to tune in before, it'll be on for you to check it out. So
exactly.
Tune in, share with your friends, And enjoy your day. We love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, honey. I love you. Bye, honey bunny.
I love you too.